For Jerry Lee, there was no place to go but back to the beginning. The beginning, Faraday, Louisiana, the tiny southern town 5 miles from the Mississippi River, where on September 29, 1935, Jerry Lee Lewis, feet first and premature, enters the world. He's the product of dirt-poor, God-fearing Southern pioneer stock, whose perceptions of religion and the law will shape much of his outlook on life. The product of a marriage between a convicted moonshiner and an avid pop and country music fan. There had been an older brother as well, Elmo Jr., killed at the age of 8 by a drunk driver. The grief and sense of loss made an indelible impression on Jerry Lee's 3-year-old mind. Sundays would find the entire Lewis clan attending the local gospel church, where the sounds of the rockin' and reelin' piano first touched the soul of a young Jerry Lee. Between the bouts of mischief, like carving initials in the rear pew with cousins Jimmy Swaggart and Mickey Gilly, a musical seed was sown in Jerry that would soon flower into full-blown passion.
Played my first song when I was 8 years old in front of an audience in church. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I just forgot the name of the song I was going to sing. And I sat down at the piano and I hit my chords, you know, and I couldn't think of it. I just got up and marched down and asked my mama what was the name of that song I was supposed to sing. Everybody laughed at me.
But Jerry Lee's father wasn't laughing. He mortgaged the family home and then lost it to buy his son a piano. Soon, it was obvious to all concerned that it was time for Jerry Lee to get some formal lessons at the keyboard.
His parents wanted him to take piano lessons. Of course, Jerry Lee could play pretty well as it was anyway.
And so I went over there and he tried to give me his piano lesson, A, B, C, D, and all that stuff.
They had him doing these little scales and things with his fingers a whole bit, you know.
Well, I took his one lesson, so I went back to my second lesson. He said, "Now, you learn how to play this song by note?" "Yes, sir." I said, "I did." I said, "I can read the notes and play it." I said, "But don't this song sound a lot better like this here?" And he kind of slapped me. He said, "Don't ever do that again." I said, "Don't worry." And boy, that shocked me to death. I said, "Man, you don't appreciate good piano playing." I got up and left.
So much for Jerry Lee's formal piano lessons. His informal education begins at Haney's Big House across the tracks in Faraday's so-called Chocolate Quarter. Jerry Lee and cousin Jimmy are bodily thrown out many times, but from open windows and doorways, Jerry Lee develops a love for the blues, a musical form he combines with his country and gospel roots into a style all his own.
Way down in New Orleans, everything's fine. All of them are catches just drinking and wine, drinking that mess, here's the line. They get sloppy drunk and they sing all night.
Playing the piano back of his father's pickup truck, Jerry Lee wins talent contests and fans from county to county.
Well, I've got a nickel, honey, you got a dime. Let's get together, buy some wine. Wine over here, wine over there. We're drinking that mess and everywhere.
At 13, the child prodigy nails down a paying job at a honky-tonk across the Mississippi in Natchez, the notorious Blue Cat Club.
Blue Cat Club. Meanest, lowest down, fighting, killing this place in the world. And the fight broke out. They had me a place under the piano. I crawled up under and hide under the piano. You know. Bullets flying, bottles flying, women flying, men flying. After it was all over with, everybody started dancing again.
The teen terror of Faraday spends his spare time skirt chasing and hell raising with his closest friend Cecil J. Harrelson, who first hangs the label killer on Jerry Lee Lewis. From hell raising to heaven on earth. In the winter of 1951, Reverend Jewel E. Barton brings his traveling salvation show to town and hires the highly recommended Jerry Lee to play at the services. The good Reverend's daughter, Dorothy, finds herself drawn to Jerry Lee, and before you can say amen, she becomes the first Mrs. Jerry Lee Lewis. In an effort to allay the fears of his outraged father-in-law, the killer announces that he's going to become a preacher and enrolls at the Southwestern Bible Institute in Waxahachie, Texas. Things go well for the freshman preacher until one day his boogie-woogie roots show through, and Jerry Lee lets loose at a student assembly. The students are impressed. The dean is not, and Jerry Lee is sent packing. His marriage to Dorothy ends in separation, and he meets and marries Jane Mitchum without benefit of divorce. No longer a minister, the killer enters the world of sales and commerce.
Well, I work for Atlas Sewing Center out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I was a sewing machine salesman.
Can you imagine Jerry Lee Lewis as a salesman? He couldn't sell anything, but he sold those sewing machines. Jerry goes out, makes the appointment, gets all the sewing machines. He doesn't set up payment plan.
Jerry Lee quickly becomes the hottest salesman in the history of the South. But there's a hitch.
He sells them until they're all gone. He gets cash, and that's the end of it.
District attorney wanted to lock me up bad.
With the Atlas Sewing Center, the local law, and outraged housewives on his tail, the killer puts his sales career behind him. The time is ripe for a trip to the country music capital of the world to see if he can give his musical ambitions a boost. Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, USA, the home of the stars and legends of country music. Jerry Lee books himself into a $1-a-night hotel, and next morning makes the rounds of record companies, music publishers, and anyone else who might give his playing a listen. It's the era of Chet Atkins and guitars. For the brash young piano player from Louisiana, there is very little encouragement.
They all listened to me, auditioned for me, asked me, could I play a guitar? I said, yeah, I can play a guitar. I said, but I play piano. That's my instrument. He said, well, if you can play guitar, we might be able to do something with you. I said, no, thank you. I hitchhiked into this town, I hitchhike out.
A year earlier in Memphis, a young Tupelo, Mississippi truck driver by the name of Elvis Presley walked into Sam Phillips' Memphis Recording Services, the home of Sun Records. He wanted to record a song for his mother's birthday, but in fact, he was about to rewrite musical history. In the wake of Elvis's success, Carl Perkins, Roy Orbison, and Johnny Cash are drawn to Sun Records. Jerry Lee wants in on some of that action.
I told my dad, I said, you know, Daddy, I see with this man, Sam Phillips in Memphis, helped Elvis Presley. I read this in the magazine, get started. I said, I think that's what I'm gonna go try.
Jerry came in and he was demanding to see Mr. Phillips. And he said he wasn't gonna leave town until he got an audition.
My job at that time was to audition people and work with people, make demos and that sort of thing. So the girl up front, Sally Wilburn, came back and said that there's a guy out here says he plays piano like Chet Atkins.
He wasn't gonna even listen to me, you know. I said, you're gonna listen to me, brother. And he said, Sam's on vacation in Florida. I said, well, you're not. I'm gonna play and you're gonna record, and he's gonna play it for Sam Phillips when he gets in.
I got back in town and he played it for me. I said, where is this damn cat? You know, where is he? He says he's in town. He's over at J.W. Brown's. His cousin, waiting on you to call him. I said, you call him, and let's get rolling.
I hired 4 musicians and we got in there one day and cut his first record.
It was on a Saturday morning, and we just went through a lot of songs. And during this audition, Crazy Arms came out of there. That was one of the songs that they auditioned, and it only had a drum and piano on it, except maybe right at the very end, so it was a pretty loose thing. And as it turned out, that was Jerry's first release.
See your arms that reach to hold somebody new. While your heart keeps saying you're not mine, not mine, not mine, not mine. My troubled mind grows blue to another you'll be with. But now I'm so lonely all the time.
Memphis DJ Dewey Phillips runs a Battle of the Records segment on his radio show, pitting one record against another, with the listeners voting for their favorite. Jerry Lee consistently beats Elvis Presley. Jerry Lee had taken a Ray Price country hit and made it his own, a mixture of country and blues, a sound that is beginning to find great acceptance with America's teenagers. What Jerry Lee needs now is exposure.
It was Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis, Roy Orbison, and myself. And the first date was in Swift Current, Canada.
I remember nothing but gravel roads then up to there, just gravel roads. And we was traveling 70 and 80 miles an hour on these gravel roads, rocks flying as high as this building. Day in, day out. It was a great day. 36 days in a row.
In 1956, Jerry Lee has still not established his wild stage act. Johnny Cash and Carl Perkins are about to unleash a monster.
He said, you know, man, y'all got it on me. Y'all standing out there with them guitars. He said, I'm sitting down on that piano. I ain't got the chance to do what y'all do. Y'all move and jump around. He said, I'm glued to that thing.
He said, you know, you need to add a little something to your act to get the crowd to going. And he kept saying, something a little bit different. Just something a little bit different. I said, well, what do you want different?
I said, Killer, can you play it standing up? He said, I can play it laying down. I said, well, get up.
When I set up a piano, things got caught in my boot and kicked it over. And I knocked it away, and the crowd went crazy.
And then it was all over for anybody else playing the piano because nobody can do it like Jerry Lee.
I told John, we stand beside the stage. I said, uh-oh. We may have told him the wrong thing.
So after that, man, I tore up in a flock of piano stage, trying to prove a point. And it was all right, but God, it's been...